Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Nur Atira binti Muhammad Zaki. Today I represent about my PSM1 entitled Enhancing uh, Ovarian Cancer Classification using chi-square analysis and also recursive feature elimination. So my supervisor, which is Dr. Zuraini binti Arisha. For the introduction, cancer is leading cause of the death worldwide nowadays, and also the classification of cancer subtypes that currently facilitated of the specific treatment. Although the breast cancer holds the title as the most common cancer among the women nowadays in worldwide, so ovarian cancer remains an important concern, especially in terms of its mortality rate. So in Malaysia nowadays, breast cancer is the most common cancer with a relatively of large number and also deaths. However, it is important of realizing that the ovarian cancer, although the less common, that poses a major threat of the woman health worldwide. So the introduction of the this research is in 2023, United States is expected to have 1.9 million persons be diagnosed have cancer on 6,900 and also 80, 120. So people, that the amount of the people will be dead. So based on the benchmark of Siegel and et al. On 2023. So early stage diagnosis has been shown to the significantly increased patient chances of the survival is prior in this study. So however, the usage of the current conventional clinical method of the cancer diagnosis that takes weeks, even months, even year to accurately the result. So machine learning to be able to detect the classify the cancer along with the statistical method to the clinical data that obtained from the patient to conduct the analytic for the early diagnosis. So based on this figure, this is the female top of the estimation of female top cancer of the United States in 2023, which is lung, breast, and colon, also pancreas. So include the ovary also. So the estimate of the United States in 2023 is compared to the cancer list. The ovarian cancer seems to be the less of the prevalence. So according to this data, there were 5% cancer deaths of ovarian based on the American Society Cancer in 2023. This microarray based on cancer screening classification, the flow process, we include several type of keys. So first, the tissue of the sample is taken from the patient. So it will be patient or will be the data set one. So next, we remove to the tissue to receive the analysis using the microarray, which is lab tools uh, that allow scientists to study which the expression level of the 1,000 genes, and also the microarray one that consists a tiny chip here, the tiny chip that holding the spot of DNA that has label, and also the each label have contained the specific DNA sequence that have bind to the matching sequence in the sample patient. So by measuring the number, the light release from the link samples, it measure how to active each genes. So the data gene expression is then to from the microarray of the study. So basically the combination of and then will be the gene expression data combining with the feature selection, and will be accurate by the machine learning and have the best accuracy of the performance diagnose for the diagnose. So basically the problem background first is existing the diagnostic techniques. Problem background is first, existing diagnostic technique often lack of the accuracy needed to distinguish between ovarian cancer subtypes and leading to the suboptimal treatment outcome. So cancer is disease that can occur due to rapid and uncontrolled growth from the paper Elimination and also allegedly 2022. So take the range of the complexity of the ovarian cancer, gene make diagnose of classification were very challenging by the paper of Mass et al. On 2021. So cancer is leading cause of death nowadays, and also the classification cancer ovarian is abnormal growth of the cell that begins in the ovary, which are part of female reproductive system. It has most of the commons among women nowadays, and in Malaysia especially, and also common since in women early age of 50 and above. Although ovarian cancer is only take of 2.5% of the cancer in women, and rank with the fifth leading cause cancer that among women. So basically on the problem statement one is primarily due to the late stage of diagnosis leading to the high mortality rate, the early detection and precise the classification one of the ovarian cancer subtype, and also the critical for timely intervention and to be a bit better patient outcome. So improving also and also improving problem of the ovarian cancer classification using the genomic and also the clinical data. And ovarian cancer is characterized by its heterogeneity with the histological subtype, enhancing the distinct molecular profile and also clinical behavior. Therefore, developing the robust of the classification model capable of accuracy is distinction between the subtype and also essential for the personalized the treatment strategy and effective patient management. So the research goal is investigate the effectiveness of the feature selection method for ovarian cancer classification and validation, the accuracy of the hybrid method selection, and also the classification. So this is the research objective. First is to investigate the effectiveness chi-square and also RFE in identifying the relevant feature from the gene expression data for the ovarian cancer classification. So number two is to select the relevant features from ovarian cancer, that is gene expression data using RFE and also chi-square. Lastly, objective is to assess the performance of support vector machine, which is used SBM, random forest, decision tree, and um, that is model will be accurately classifying based on ovarian cancer classification on the selected features. College of Computer Science of Software Engineering Season University. So this focus on the effect of the feature selection method for the ovarian cancer classification, and also investigate feature selection method ranked by chi-square and also RFE for the ovarian cancer classification. So and then the type of classification will use to process the ovarian cancer dataset, which is SBM, random forest, and also decision tree. So and also to improve the classification of the cancer by using the hybrid feature selection method for the combining of RFE and also the chi-square. We move to the chapter two. Move to the chapter two of the literature view. So basically, for the ovarian cancer, this is the figure that the female reproductive system that has been labeled. So they indicate the right and also the left ovary, the left and also the right ovary, as well as the endocervix and also inner part of the cervix. Which is outer part of cervix. It's called axil cervix. So original that ovaries, the female reproductive sex organ, respond to for producing the egg and also hormone essential for the reproductive health. So these organs are located in either side of the uterus, and also cell in ovaries grows uncontrollably that through typically start in ovaries. Some cancers may originate in fallopian tubes, which connect to ovaries and also to the uterus. So move for the feature selection method. So feature selection method have divided in three. So filter method, wrapper method, and also embedded method. Feature method is evaluate feature relevant using the statistical metrics like correlation, chi-square, and also mutual information. This method access feature importance independently of any machine learning. And number two is wrapper method that focus on feature subset by evaluating the performance of the specific machine learning algorithm on the different feature combination. So the techniques include such as forward selection, backward elimination, and also RFE. So move to the embedded method, which will incorporate feature selection into the model training process. So optimizing feature selection and model fitting simultaneously. And for example, lasso. So this is diagram that I have been short list of the benchmark paper, and then the colored one will be used on the proposed method for this research. So this is classification technique that have in the benchmark paper overall, but I take only main for more used by the benchmark paper. So these have three SBM, DT, and also RF. So the description of the SBM is find the dimensional space on the classify of the data, and also the advantages is effective in high dimensional space that handles non-linear data with a kernel tricks, less prone to the overfitting when they turn properly. And also these advantages is computationally expensive the large of data and less effective with the noisy dataset. So in this decision tree that builds a tree structure by a recursive splitting data based on the feature importance. Advantages is easy to interpret both of numerical and also categorical data by identifying the important features. And also these advantages is to overfitting the sensitive to the small variation in data. So RF is assemble of the decision tree that emerging to improve the accuracy one that reduce the overfitting and compared to the single decision trees. They handle the large of data set and high dimensionality that estimate the feature importance. However, they have a disadvantageous one that more complex than the individual of decision tree and requires more computational resource and resources and training. So the literature view at R1 for focus area is traditional research typically involve analyzing data set through the parameter estimation and experimental of outcome. So this research differs by focusing on evaluating on chi-square and RFE for the feature selection, and also we have classifying subset data using the method that accessible their performance, and evaluation will determine the accuracy various machine learning technique using the Python version, and the goal of the achieve this research objective effectively through the methodologies and also the analysis one. So this is current work based on the benchmark paper. Okay, the main of the research benchmark paper is from the Elimination and Kawai on 2022. We use the 5 dataset from leukemia cancer, ovarian cancer, lung cancer, and also small round blue cell tumor. And this paper use of chi-square this feature selection, and this paper use of the classification SVM can and also randomized and also DT. The performance measurement by accuracy, the method is the hybrid method and also the two-stage method. So by hybrid feature selection algorithm for the cancer diagnosis that combining filter based and also the wrapper based hybrid approach that enhance the selective process by integrating a different method and is evaluating using the classifiers to improve the diagnostic by accuracy in a cancer classification for the 5 dataset for the 5 cancer that relate to this paper. Ovarian cancer dataset that feature selection that have is consistency based and also correlation based using by classification SVM, RF, and also DT, performance measurement, accuracy, precision recall, and FX score. So method that this paper use is hybrid and also the traditional one. So the pre-processing during this paper, for this paper is dataset as used as RFF file, overall is RFF file. So they're converting to the data frame format in the pandas library and reviewing the type of the feature where the in numerical and also was in categorical. The feature selection important for the accurate cancer diagnosis that reducing the gene count from 15,155 to a 24 beta detection. Okay, so the third benchmark paper is from Ahmed M. et al. In 2022. So use of ovarian cancer dataset and also burning ovarian tumors, which is the picture one. And also t-test, feature selection, and man Whitney U-test. Use the classification SVM, RF, DT, and also DBM, XGPOS, and also GPM. For the gradient one. So performance measurement is accurate by accuracy, sensitivity, precision, recall, F-score, and also the OC1. OC1. So method that this paper use is traditional and also hybrid. Pre-processing during the this paper is dataset that involved in data cleaning, missing value, invitational data scaling, and also data division. So the dataset were divided into the subgroup based on blood routine tests, general chemistry tests, and tumor marker analysis using the statistical method and machine learning model. And then we go to this paper, which is focused on lung cancer, breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, leukemia, and also ovarian. Yes, many have data set that do the comparison between the cancer data set of this. Okay, so use of the feature selection SVM and also chi-square, we go with the classification of the NIF bias and accuracy performance measurement by accuracy, precision, recall, and also F-score. So using the hybrid method. So based on the data pre-processing, it has 2 process, which is data normalization and feature selection using SVM, RFE combination and chi-square method that to reduce the number of feature the selected relevant one effective the data set. So the SVM RFE involve the ranking feature by eliminating the dose of the weight of the iteration. So basically, chi-square are based on the statistical test of determining feature relevant of the training model. Okay, so by the accuracy of NIF bias perform SVA and RF than the NIF bias with the chi-square one. Okay, so lastly, for the embedded focus is for the last one that using the dataset from breast cancer, leukemia, and also prostate by paper of this in 2023. So feature selection that this paper use is by for LASO. So the classification used is SVM, and performance measurements are by AUC and also MCC using the method traditional and by staff for LASO. So, preprocessing dia adalah dataset were normalized independently using the quartile normalization before apply the feature selection and also classification algorithm. So for total of the literature view discussion of the current works is face many challenge in accurate and efficiency of the classification performance due to reliance on a raw data set without compressing pre-processing. So by applying a feature selection method to the dataset employing certification technique, this method can aims to more robust of the scientifically sound that we approach. So related to the classification accuracy dataset analysis, so include the issue like missing data, large data, and also using the high dimensional data. So feature selection enhance cancer classification model by selecting the features and also refining the data set by reducing also the overfitting and improving the classification efficiency. So everything the classification technique based on the ability that handle the enhanced data set is too important. So to study focus on assessing how well this technique classify ovarian cancer data by enhancing the accuracy and efficiency of across various algorithms. So this approach ensures the selection of the optimal classification technique for the cancer classification task. So enhancing model reliable and applicability in a real world scenario. So this is, I have made the algorithm for the pseudocode on the current research that mostly use the SVM, DT, RF, and also CAN-N. Okay, so the pseudocode algorithm provide a systematic procedure for the choosing classifier ovarian cancer dataset using a machine learning model. So at first, this process was selected in terms competing by evaluation score for the feature selection using chi-square, F statistic, and also mutual information. So the score then stored in a table called FST for the future score table. So the contribute are everything assigned ranking, which are then combined into RT, rank table, and also extreme value in adjust create the overall of RT. So and update the wrapper method is utilized to choose the most important feature based on the overall ranking. So in chapter 3, research and methodology, this is phase of the research framework, the research planning, initial study, data preparation and processing, implement of feature selection, and phase 4 overall is a performance evaluation, which is testing and training, classification of the combination of fitting classification and feature selection method, and the result outcome. So the phase 2 based on the data pre-processing and normalization, as we know, important to get the new information, getting the study analysis. So especially when it's comes to the classification, the context of this study is by removing the duplicate, controlling outliers, filling the missing value, data processing, guarantees the integrity and consistency of the raw data, and rise the precision of the machine learning model used in the study. So basically, the data normalization is important by employing the method like standardization, min-max scaling, and to bring the numerical similar scale without the minimizing issue. So the data normalization plays an important and ensuring consistent and comparative data. Normalization keep the ovarian cancer dataset gene data that same scale that prevention any gene from improperly effective the research and improving machine learning model performance. On phase 3, the implement of the feature selection that apply with the ovarian cancer dataset, that contributing the correction of the subset use input for the classification, and also including the chi-square and RFE. For the detail is have in the chapter to discuss. So applying feature selection which generate subset and dataset will be input of the classification technique by utilizing the feature selection, the original of the OC dataset processing, and also the resulting the generation of the new subset that reduce the size compared to the original dataset. So the smaller subset comprise the selected important features chosen from the original data that will be employed in consistent phase of the research framework. So phase 4 have 4 steps that with testing several class classification techniques of data sets of ovarian cancer. Number 2 is classification, measurement, evaluation based on accuracy and assess how well feature selection techniques in combination. Number 3 is identify the best combination between the classification and also feature selection method. And number 4 is discuss the result. So basically, the based on the preprocessing and normalization in phase 2. The dataset will undergo the training and also using the various classification technique. So as the first chapter was stated, that subset that will be tested using SVM, RF, and also DT. So the testing of evaluation of the subset dataset, this classification technique will on the 3 outcomes. First is accuracy measurement, feature selection, with and also without feature selection, and lastly for the classification performance. So the classification measurement evaluation based on accuracy and assess how well feature selection classification technique in combination. So the result generated by feature selection best evaluate in terms of the classification that aiming to determine the best combination of the feature selection and also classification. So specific metric has been primarily measure of this research with the precision being promoted. Metric such as precision recall, F measurement, measure ROC, and also utilizing in measuring the accuracy. So the aim of to explore the efficiency of the feature selection method, the classification technique certification of certifying the goal and the scope through the utilizing of using the DIS metric. So this performance assess with the feature selection method like chi-square and also RFA enhanced to the classification using the dataset of the ovarian cancer. So last, for the identification of the best combination between classification of feature selection, the optimal time to determine the best pair between the feature selection and classification after analyzing the result. So achieving one of the research goal may fulfill by the identifying the best pair resulting from combine the feature and also the classification. So even if one combination yield less acceptable result, it can still be available for the further investigation by another research as for this issue lah. Okay, so in chapter 4 is research design and implementation. So this is the ovarian cancer dataset we obtained from the Citizen University was utilized in the study. So this is about the dataset ovarian cancer that have two that have 253 samples. This is the samples, and also 15,150 55 features, and also the number of classes we separate into two, which is in binary cancer and also non-cancer normal person. So the cancer detected was in the dataset is 162 people patient, and also the normal people will be the 91. Okay, so however this dataset searching entering in term in WCA or we call in .rff file format. So the dataset .rff format, however, to in the Python, we will import the Python to that need to convert to a CSV file, then upload into this dataset into the CSV file by Python environment libraries. So each attribute has unique name that research employ a gene expression format for the dataset ovarian cancer. So I have done for the step of the chapter 4 in data preprocessing, which is for the data cleaning that have no missing value, no redundant, and also that's clean, also clean. For the experiment that I have been done for the preprocessing, and also the step of the normalization one for the 0 and 1 level. So by use the fit transform training data and also the initialize by min max scalar to do the normalization part. So I have done until the preprocessing and also normalization part. So the next is feature selection. The purpose of the feature selection that has been tried. I have done until the chi-square part. So the chi-square part using the selected base best and also the fit transform train, and this is the feature the flow chart of the chi-square flow. So which is load the dataset of ovarian cancer, do the processes of reprocessing data by the normalization, perform cleaning data, and handle missing value. I have done from that process data, and also perform. After that, we perform the chi-square analysis and calculate the chi-square statistical, and determine the significant level p-value, and by select the features based on the chi-square score, by select the feature gene that highest chi-square score and the lowest p-value. It's the most informative for the ovarian cancer classification task. And then we proceed to the selected features for ovarian cancer, and then will be the end for the flow. So, and then will be the RFE one that proposed, in addition, RFE was applied to the further feature selection process. So, RFE techniques that aims pick the most relevant features by implementing the least of the significant one, but improving the classification accuracy and minimizing the complexity of the model. So to implement the RFE, the code applies the RFE class from the scikit-learn that involve fitting and estimating to the training data and aggressive reducing the list of the most important features until the desired number of the features that obtained. So the number is to select the defined by the parameter that has been selected the features. So this is the flowchart of the RFE one. This is flowchart of RFE. The starting for the load data set. Normal as a chi-square one, the pre-processing data, the normalization, perform, and cleaning data. So analyze the model that we use of classification, SVM, DF, and also RFE. And also go through with the flow train model, all the features. Basically rank features based on the model. So to perform the RFE one, remove the lowest score of remove of the data set, reducing the number of the features and also next iteration. So retrain the model remaining features that using an update dataset with the list of the features has been removed. So repeat the RFE iteration that has processed ranking features, remove list, and also retaining the model um that repeat. So that has been the selected features of the ovarian cancer classification. Okay, and then we will end for flow of the RFE one. So this is the parameter setting classification technique. To achieve the goal in the study, Python has been tested and trained to the ovarian cancer dataset. So indicate the objective of the research. They have function in Python known as percentage split. So for this research, parameter setting has been split just 90%, 10 to 10% for the testing. But however, it will be included for the PSM2 for the experiment research had to be tested. So after the process of the feature selection, each machine learning model is trained and tested. So to optimize the performance, each model by the hyperparameter and adjusting using the grid research technique that conjunction with 10 fault cross validation, which ensure a reliable and accurate evaluation. So the model is trained using the chosen features and also optimal parameters, hyperparameters that even evaluate the independent test sets and comprise the optimal accuracy uh, inducing the feature for the each model, as well related with the classification accuracy outcome for the classification on ovarian cancer dataset. However, however, after test, the independent set, the resulting classification accuracy will be recorded. So in chapter 5, the conclusion and also the recommendation of this research is the conclusion of this research is focused on utilizing the feature selection method that refine the ovarian cancer dataset and also enhancing the optimal pre-processing in chapter 3 and also in chapter 4. So the subjected of the classification technique for the evaluation of the performance and also discuss how the stage and also next phase will involve detail on ovarian cancer classification, evaluation the expected outcome. However, using the originality of the prepared Weka analysis, the ovarian dataset was adapted to this CSV, convert to the CSV file format, the experimenting using the Python. So the key features has a more models that employ as assess the diversity in classification of brain cancer data accurately and also meaningful. So basically, I've done from the pre-processing phase. So they include feature selection method using chi-square only. Then we will continue to the RFE one. So that streamline classification that process aim to the preventing of the overfitting, enhancing performance and also optimizing the efficient cost of effectiveness of the classification. So based on the chapter 1 that have been stated, the primary aim to the research have been enhanced ovarian cancer classification through the hybrid feature selection method. So the study aims to evaluate the effectiveness of chi-square and also RFE in identifying the relevant features of the ovarian cancer using the gene expression data. So the performance of the SVM, RF, and also DT was evaluated by the accuracy in classification. by aim to contribute the valuable insight into improving the classification accuracy and ensuring that robust model of the capability of the real scenario. So for the research challenges that have been motivated me, the handle of the high dimensionally data, biological data that present the significant challenges in studies aim of the classification of ovarian cancer. So basically, gene expression data set can have large number of feature of gene, which is result in computational challenges of the effective data processing and also the analysis. So when doing the operation like feature selection and model training, the huge number of feature in the data set may result in higher computational and also time and also memory use. So in complex, the computational method and optimizing techniques is to handle the dimensionally in way maintain the integrity and effectively on the classification model. So the robustness of the validation of the character classification model represent another important issue. By combining is essential for improving the adaptability and accuracy of the ovarian cancer classification technique. So basically on the future works we're doing in PSM2, which compare the performance. This is the proposed solution table. Okay, this is proposed solution that I want to do. This research will do. Okay, for this classification using the feature selection method and also measure the classification accuracy. That specifically, the research hope they demonstrate why feature selection method like chi-square and also RFE are important for improving the ovarian cancer classification. Additionally, this research will focus on filter wrapper method, but also I have decided to combination with the hybrid using lasso. So we'll be include as the hybrid method last, which is chi-square RFE and also lasso. Okay, for the hybrid method. So we'll include as well embedding in hybrid feature selection method. So this is the proposed solution table. From this, I will do the experiment without feature selection with RFE and also with only chi-square and also lasso one. So the combination will be the hybrid because have hybrid method will be the two or more uh, combination of the feature selection. So I do to use the lasso for the next PSM2 experiment. So without feature selection, this is the pseudocode that untuk feature selection, without feature selection. So we'll go process after the data pre-processing and also split data set into training and also testing. We'll go through with the classifier. So go through with the classifier and then train, test and also evaluate the performance measurement. So the output will be the classification result using the SVM, RF and also DT. So in this algorithm tree, that has been a pseudocode that proposes only using the RFE, for example. So from the beginning, the input, the load, the data set of the ovarian cancer, and then do the preprocessing and normalization, split data set into the training and testing. So do the RFE classifier such as using SVM. So feed RFE training to the select features, transform data set, and retrain the selected features. So SVM is train and also test using the RFE one. Okay, so RF and also DT. So the output will be the classification using using the classifier SVN, RF, and also RT combined with RFE set the features. And also the hybrid purpose method will be same on the beginning of the input. So we perform the split also data and data cleaning. So analyze the RFE with the classification of SVM. Do the hybrid SVM using, for example, for the SVM also RF and DT for the selected features. So why I choose RFE and chi-square as main is ovarian cancer is significantly a medical research due to the high mortality rate, that difficult on early detection, that improving the classification method that can lead a better diagnosis tools potentially improve the patient outcomes result. So having more than weeks, more than month and years to detect the diagnosis of the ovarian cancer. It takes us too long. So by combining a chi-square, I think by combining a feature selection hybrid method, we will use the chi-square analysis and also RFE for the strength of the both method. So chi-square is quickly filter out the relevant features, and RFE fine-tunes the selection of the iterative of refining the feature set. So this hybrid approach can provide a most robust feature selection process and leading a better classification result by also combining with the embedded one lasso. So previous, I just want to prove that chi-square and also RFE will be a better classification result. Also will be provide a lasso one. So will be separate and will be compare. So previous study has shown that feature selection technique include chi-square and also RFE effective in improving the classification performance in various type of cancer. So including the ovarian cancer. By including an existing research study aims to evaluate and potentially improve this method in the context of ovarian cancer classification. So improvement in classification accuracy also why I choose using the ovarian cancer and also feature selection that's been selected. That this statistical method is effectively in selecting relevant features for the classification by evaluating the independence of variable by selecting features that have been significant impact on this target variable that can also improve the accuracy of the cancer classification model. So RFE is powerful feature selection technique that recursively remove the list of significant features and build model of the remaining features, and also this help to identifying the most critical and important features nearby to enhancing the model performance. So that's all for me for my PSM1. Thank you.